Hello, buddy, this is Purge, bringing you a first-person gameplay commentary. I'm going to be playing Omniknight this game. I don't think I picked it. Yes, I have. Playing this one with a couple friends. I think it's been a while since I made an Omniknight game. He was recently buffed. I think his items got buffed, and I think that might have been it. Let me pull it up to make sure. Very, very minor changes to the hero, actually. I don't really think the Aghanim Scepter build for him is very useful. I did try it out in one pub game, and it was really underwhelming. Possibly because my team sucked that game anyways, but Omniknight. Yeah, just added Aghanim Scepter, so that's the only buff to him. So, very minor buff. I did end up randoming this game, so I was able to go for a pretty lucky item build. I asked Purian for a regen item, so he gave me a Tango, and this allows me to get both the Stout Shield as well as the Boots pickup. So, he's not really the best offlane hero. It's kind of a weird setup. The main reason it's not that amazing is because his HP is a little low. It's not super high. His armor's okay at 4, but he doesn't have much offensive potential. It's basically revolving around purification. And he's also just kind of hard to kill because you can cast Repel on yourself, which makes you magic immune at the early levels. So if you get out of position, it's pretty easy to dodge spells, but the downside is it's still kind of hard to CS without taking too much harass. It's nice to personally have a heal with purification, but it doesn't always do enough heal to keep you in the lane. So you could argue that maybe I should have gotten extra regen and maybe skip my Stout Shield, but I knew that I would most likely be taking harass from a ranged support hero, so Stout Shield is definitely needed. So I'm going to go place an Observer Ward to block the pull camp. I was going to put it in a different spot than normal, waiting for a ping from, I think Loomdun was pinging right there. Apparently that ward does block the spot, so decided to place a ward there because that's pretty unlikely to get counter warded. I didn't really want to put it on the magic bush because that's a lot easier to spot. So, and then of course one ward covering the rune spot. That's usually a good place to place as well if they're doing an aggressive tri lane, because their supports, if they do roam middle, that's likely where they're going to end up being, is roaming from the safe lane towards the mid lane. So that'll keep our mid lane a little safer. So once I place wards, I'm going to go back and block a bit. I ideally would let the range creep through first. That doesn't always happen, but it would be nice if that's the case. In terms of a skill build, I think that when you're slaying crappy pubs, it's fine to max out your degen or a second, but against good players, you have to absolutely get... I almost got my block off. The range creep isn't going to die first, but it's very close. Against good players, I think you have to max Purification and Repel, and sometimes even skipping your Guardian Angel ulti at 6. I've seen some players do this as well, because your ulti is actually really, really mana expensive. I'm just going to cast Repel every time I get cursed. I overstayed this a little bit here. A bit of a mistake for me there. By the time my Repel ran out, he was able to do a pretty high damaging Rocket Barrage, so this is going to cost me a sell. This is probably the biggest mistake that I made in the lane, so it's not that big of a deal. But I like to eat this tree just in case I want to juke later. That will be open for me. Spends a little bit extra time, but it's not that big of a loss. And the wave is also pushing because he used Rocket Barrage, so this will guarantee me getting some more EXP at least. And again, costs me 50 mana. And the right click's actually pretty serious right now. Silencer's base damage is not bad at the moment. 52 isn't too terrible. He casts Last Word on me here, so I'm going to take some bonus damage. These guys are doing a really good job harassing me and keeping me down so far, because I'm almost out of regen. The double range is really annoying, as is the Silencer, but the important part is that he's probably almost out of mana, because he has cast on me a lot. If we check him, he is now almost out of mana. He casted Curse on me again, and now he's down to 150, so it's costing me a whole lot of HP regen, but it is also costing him a lot of mana, so kind of an excuse me, kind of an annoying lane so far, but it'll end up okay, because I am getting experience. They have a dual lane top, which is Tree Spear Breaker. That's a really kind of a weird dual lane.
All wands will break.
Again, they casted me. He casted 2 spells for that and did very little damage, so I'm not too worried. If you guys are worried how how Repel and Last Word work out, if you cast Last Word on me, it forces me to cast a spell. If I don't, I'll get silenced, and I'll get disarmed. I'll still take the damage. If I cast Repel to break the silence, I'll get silenced afterwards, ideally. Or if I cast a spell after I get Last Worded and I cast a spell, it'll silence me afterwards and I'll take the damage. If I cast Repel though, I still take the damage, but I don't get silenced afterwards. So it's kind of a nice little protection against Silencer that I have a little spammable spell. If I had something like Degen, or I would have gotten absolutely outlaned here. I would have had to go back to base already. So my HP is pretty low at this point, but at least I do have enough mana for another heal. I realized at this point that I was most likely not going to be able to farm Arcane Boots before I needed some kind of HP regen, so I believe I ended up going straight for a bottle, because I'm kind of close to it. Bottle coin isn't as good as it used to be, but being able to pick it up will cover me. I maybe should have just let that do damage to me, by the way, because I didn't really need to not be silenced there. I could have just taken the last word damage and saved 50 mana for repel, so I think that was maybe a mistake for me to repel that one off. As long as I don't need the last hit for the next 4 seconds or something like that, I should probably just let that hit me. And he did actually get 1 level of last word, and he's getting 2 of the curse, so. Still playing it pretty safe though, because the gyrocopter can do pretty good range damage. And I'm going to use... Oops, I did not use the... There we go. Actually, I didn't get a last hit out of the purification, which was maybe a mistake. It was a little bit of a panic purification, because I was definitely worried about dying there. I'd love to have one more last hit, but... Again, though, having the boots is pretty nice, because even if I get Rocket Barrage chased, I don't have that much threat of dying. This looks scary. If I actually get casted on by the silencer, it could be my death, so... Don't really have a good way to pull the creeps fast, either. The Omniknight offlane is definitely a very situational thing. Against typical lineups, this is just simply not going to work. I wouldn't really recommend this a whole lot, but it can work. Like, it's kind of hard for you to die, but it's not really strong.
No sorceries avail.
I think I was looking somewhere else when I almost died there. So I'll just run back to base. He's almost out of mana, at least.
That I may not falter in my flight.
And there's my bottle pickup. So now we'll be able to be full HP. Bottle's really, really useful on Omniknight when you're taking any kind of damage harass. The reason being, every bottle charge gives you 70 mana. That's about half of a purification. So hypothetically, every time I cast the bottle twice, I have also a heal on top of it. Got Pure and playing Jakiro over here. Pretty hard to kill the OD, which is a Bloodseeker and a Jakiro at the moment. But now I can go for last hits, and if I take 150 damage, I can just pop a bottle charge and then do a heal or something like that. It really does give you a lot more survivability in the laning presence. I don't have to worry as much about getting harassed because I have a mana source like that. That was a pretty nice heal for me there. Got a last hit while also harassing the gyrocopter, so not bad. I believe he has a whole lot of regen. Yeah, he does have quite a bit of regen this game, so it's not like I won the lane or anything, but being able to get last hits while harassing your opponents is really good. Oh yeah, a little bit about purification. I guess I should probably talk about how the hero skills work a little bit, because I don't play Omniknight very often. I don't think I have very many games of him on my channel, but purification, a couple cool facts about it. It does pure damage as #1, so that means it is not reduced by armor or magic resistance or anything like that. I was just going to eat this test of faith because, okay, I didn't. I casted the repel. I guess that was okay, because I was going to get last hits. But it does pure damage. You can cast it on allied units, whether creeps or heroes, and it does pure damage to enemy heroes around them, so pretty strong offensively. I would love to use this offensively right now since my HP is a little low, so I'm going to come in for this last hit while also healing myself. There is a silencer. He was actually right-clicking me quite a few times. Looks like he's going to survive. I told him I was going to heal him, and then I canceled. I changed my mind. I was like, go home. If I would have healed him there, it would have cost me a lot of the mana pool remaining, probably about to here. I would have been almost out of mana, and he would have been at about half HP, which is still a little dangerous for him to go mid, so it was that was another good heal. You can cast it on creeps sometimes to get CS and harass. It doesn't necessarily have to be on you. And I was able to do quite a bit to the support silencer, and if I looked at his items, he does have a salve, but that puts him in kind of a scary area of HP, so doing some harass like that is always good. And again, while I'm not getting insanely high levels, I can kind of contest the lane now against support silencer and things like that. I think I take this one for sure. So I take damage, I get silenced, and I'm also disarmed for about 3 seconds. Really not that bad when the skill is only level 1. It's actually level 2 now, but he probably should have a level of Glaives of Wisdom in case he gets a kill, because it would remove some of my int. And actually removing int from Omniknight's not bad, at least pre-Arcane Boots. Can cost him some HP. or some mana pool. It's really important that when you're playing offlane, though, guys, that you can get last hits when you're uncontested. Because usually when you have when you have opportunities to last hit, they are very few and far between. So when you actually do get the chance to last hit, you have got to get them. Otherwise, it's really going to hurt your core items. It's kind of like you're playing heavily from behind the whole game. So even getting the bottle up, I barely got that up in time, honestly. I was considering throwing the heal on him. So I cast the heal on myself first. And Bloodseeker gets a double. I was able to use my heal offensively on Gyro. I did still take pretty good damage. But all things worked out. So Arcane Boots now with Bottle. My mana is pretty solid now. I don't have to worry as much about mana. In some games I like going Soul Ring on Omniknight, but I don't think an offlane is the right game for a Soul Ring Omni. I think the Bottle Arcane is actually pretty much ideal here, because you do need a bit more HP burst regen. Here comes the Spirit Breaker. I should be able to keep Piran alive here. I almost casted the heal on him. I'm sure he saw that coming, so he decided to back off. And I grab a Magic Stick. So this pretty much is, I would say, your early core for Omniknight. Bottle, Arcane Boots, Stout Shield, and a Magic Stick. It gives you enough survivability against physical damage. You have a lot of burst heal so you can stay up, and that combined with your purifications should keep you alive generally. I've also gotten 3 levels of Repel at this point, because I want to max out Repel pretty fast. Oops. That's an enemy hero. I maybe should have casted Repel first and just walked away, honestly. I did get to offensive purify him, and he does have a salve, so he's going to heal up from that, but I'm going to wait to see if I can get a rune bot, and I get luck out and do get a rune, which is pretty nice for me. Level 1 Rupture is generally pretty crap. The guy does have a lot of HP, though, so that's part of the reason why I'm trying to shift over and help with this. So put the heal on Piran. And a Repel to stop the second source of damage. Run, Piran. Piran stayed a little bit too long there. Just got enough mana for the Guardian Angel. And that's going to guarantee my death, so... They did have to global silence for me dying there, but... It's okay. I didn't feel too bad about that one. PL getting a solo kill top helps a lot as well, so... See, I think Piran definitely stayed a little bit too long. After I saved him with the Repel, he probably should have sat in this area here and gone for an Ice Path rather than going all the way into melee range. He did get charged, so he was probably going to die no matter what, but I think that could have gone a bit better.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So I'm going to shift to the bot lane, going to try to defend this. I don't have enough for a TP scroll though, and they're actually pushing it pretty hard, so I think we end up losing this tower without us able to contest it. In an ideal situation, we would have had a hero TP to try to cover this in the meantime, but was not able to have that happen, unfortunately. And the problem with Omniknight now is he ends up playing kind of a weird role, which basically revolves around him doing his best in team fights, but it only does so much. Like, his offensive potential is pretty low. We luckily do have a bunch of melee heroes like Lifestealer and Bloodseeker, so we can secure ourselves having... I can secure myself some offensive impact, but largely I just need to cast Repel on core heroes that are going to be diving, such as the Bloodseeker, and I just need to try to keep everybody alive and cast my ulti at an opportune moment. That's pretty much the best thing that I can do. And what it usually results in is Omniknight's stats really not being that high, because him doing offensive potential against the enemy team isn't really there. But Omniknight becomes really strong when your team actually has a gold and level advantage, and generally can just team fight and push through things. Because once he does get stronger than them, you not only are at they're not only at a gold disadvantage, but then you have to fight against constant purification heals and repel heals and Guardian Angel, which usually will protect your allies. And their heroes actually don't have any natural diffusal blade carriers, so he does get a bonus in this as well. Usually when people pick Omniknight, your opponents are going to draft something like a Potom, who can build a diffusal, or they'll grab a Phantom Lancer, or something like that. Usually a pretty good choice. There is a team fight starting top. I'm definitely going to be late. I should have been there a little bit earlier. And me being able to initiate on something like this isn't really going to happen. I'm actually taking some pretty good OD damage. That was a really nice astral from him. Definitely he anticipated the initiation. Purge should definitely be running, and he stayed way too long. So I popped the ulti to keep him alive, and then he gets killed anyways, so... Wanted to see if they would dive me. Yeah, Omniknight Jakiro, they definitely... It's not enough damage to kill heroes. If they overdive, maybe we could score some kills, but... There was no way that that was going to work out good for us. Piran had to back as soon as I missed my heal, he had to back, because that was all of our damage, pretty much. Luckily, they're casting heavily on the illusions. Should be able to initiate, though, because I think Bloodseeker's coming forward. Yeah, he is. There's a Rupture. Level 1 Rupture, guys. Absolute crap. I could have offensively healed that. Maybe should have. I wanted to cast Repel on whoever was getting jumped on. It was actually the PL. Definitely shouldn't have repelled myself. Him killing that catapult was so huge, guys. Like, I wouldn't have been able to heal him in time. I was still on cooldown. I wouldn't have been able to heal him in time if it wasn't for him last hitting the catapult for HP. Super close. So I think I'm going to just put another heal on him to keep him higher HP on them and on the map.
Fear not heresy.
I was a little out of position here, but I was able to repel. Now I have a pretty long duration heal going on. Oh, that's such good sounds. So I can repel the Bloodseeker, which guarantees that he will not get silenced or take more damage. So that should be... And now these got movement speed bonus, that's going to be a dead hero. So I just kind of end up being an accessory to my allies, trying to keep them alive, things like that. It's a DD. Jaro. I kind of wanted to dive this. I don't think it would have been that bad of an idea. I mean, he has double damage, so I guess Flak would have been a little scary, but... I don't know, he really doesn't have that much HP. Look at the heal. I mean, I can do 360 pure just like that. I think we should have dived that for sure. And then I was like, Piran, don't die to a creep.
Middle tower is under attack.
Kind of looking around for a rune now because my bottle's so empty and I need some more HP. I think they've been killing the stack this whole time, is what they did with their time here. Wow, he barely survived. I think if I would have TP'd to the tier 2 tower there, I could have saved him. We did. I think we had vision of him charging as of right here. So if I would have TP'd to the tier 2 and then he would have ran to me, I could at least put the heal on him. And a repel as well would have saved him. I think I could have done that better. I mean, it's a pretty... is honestly a pretty good counter against Spirit Breaker, though. When he killed me, he had like 90 int. I had like 30 int, so it would have been like 60 times 9 or something. This guy's going really aggressive on me, so I'm going to pop my Invis in it and bottle this up a bit. Should be able to get an offensive purification. I kind of wanted to set up a kill here. But I don't have the damage output, so not going to be able to kill him, and he'll have to TP out. So at the least, he has to go back to base. I can't feel too bad about that. And it looks like we're going to lose the top lane now. Items that I need at this point, I definitely want more HP. I finished my magic wand, so a little bit more wand charges as well as HP. But the next thing I need is more survivability. And the main reason is because they have a silencer, and silencer's pretty much a pain in the butt to deal with. Does a ton of disables, and against Omniknight, silence is another really good solution towards the hero. It's a TP to the bot lane. It's okay, Gyrocopter's gonna die already. I basically need to be able to survive the global silence as well as a possible last word or whatever. So what I basically wanted to farm towards was just a straight vitality booster. I wanted to get my HP up as high as possible, and this is kind of similar to what you see against what you build against a Doom, for example. Doom also disables your items, so he's a little bit nastier. I could have built a mech if I wanted to. Mech is honestly another great item on an Omniknight, and I don't think anybody else on our team was building one. Jakiro's pretty far behind in terms of farm, so Didn't really expect him to be able to make a mech, so I could have done that to give myself a second heal. That way, if I'm trying to burst save somebody, I have the control with Purification as well as mech on top of it. So for now, just continue last hit, keep control of the map, and try to farm my extra HP. Especially against an OD, it's just going to help a whole bunch. Items that I can build out of a Vitality Booster, though. Oh, I can't even click on the shop. You can build a Vanguard, you can build a Bloodstone, you can build a Rod of Atos, I think, and a Heart. I think it's the fourth. I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. But I wanted to build a Rod of Atos this game, and that's partially because our disable is not that great. We have basically an Ice Path, and that's just about our only stun. So we have Ice Path, we have a Rupture disable, we have Open Wounds. We have a lot of slows, but we don't really have a good lockdown. So I wanted to build a Rod of Atos, not only because it gives me a lot of HP, but also the extra mana is not going to be bad. I could have hypothetically built an Aghanims and covered the same kind of stat stuff just by having more HP, but Rod is quite a bit cheaper at 3,100. I didn't actually know I was being charged here. I just popped Repel on myself because I knew I was pretty far forward. And that is the power of Repel, guys. It stops the magical damage that the Bash does. Bash does magical damage, so it does Bash through Magic Immunity. But getting Bash doesn't really matter, because I'm just going to take some very slight disable from it. I saw the heroes mid, so I just repelled myself to make sure. And then I can pick up the Haste rune now. Haste is really good in this team fight context. They actually have pretty weak disables themselves. The only really good disable they have is probably like Greater Bash as well as the Tree ulti. So I just put the heal on Loomdown to keep him up. We should be able to Arcane and go back to farming. So I've got 1600. I was maybe considering purchasing a Drum of Endurance, but I knew that the Bloodseeker already had one, so I just changed my mind. Drum of Endurance is also another okay item that you can pick up if you want to be generally stat heavier on Omniknight. I love my little hammer too. I've owned so many Omniknight hammers cosmetically, but I think this one's pretty cool. It's like a little rock with cool stuff on it. Which is really the most important thing about my gameplay. Lost a last hit because of weak shopping. So, Vitality Booster, I now have 1300 HP. I can always Guardian Angel myself, which makes me pretty much invulnerable to physical damage for 6 seconds. Fun fact about Guardian Angel, it will protect you against Odie's right click, but not his orb. His orb does pure damage, so no matter what, Odie will still be able to do damage to us by right-clicking, assuming we're not magic immune. Repel does make somebody magic immune on myself or my teammates, so there's a lot of knowledge to know about Omniknight to make him effective as a hero, but he very heavily counters the Spirit Breaker as well as the OD. Magic immunity on anybody against those two heroes is really annoying, because then their bashes don't do bonus damage, and that's a large point of where they get their damage output from, so... my KD doesn't look that good right now, 0, 1, and 2. My CS are 50, but luckily, we basically just wanted to play a passive game. Purin was freaking out a bit, because they do have quite a few carries with like Spirit Breaker and OD and Gyro, and probably not Silencer, but maybe Silencer if he somehow ends up carrying this game. But we really weren't that worried about this, because Bloodseeker was able to get pretty good farm. He's got 7 kills here. RPL has relatively good farm. Going to be making a Diffusal Blade shortly. I think his HP and his build are maybe a little weak, but looks like Kieran's going to die in the mid lane. But did I show up for this? Oh no, I was in the jungle. He got jumped on. Might be able to kill this guy. I had to repel myself. Oh, and he blew the global. That's like one of those moments where you back up immediately. You just say, okay, you just blew global silence. I guess we're going to run. He probably looked on the map and saw 3 heroes jumping on the OD and just booked it. He really had... I don't think that guy actually had a threat of dying at all. Really. Well, level C. Still 14. He was honestly not at threat of dying. Blowing the global silence like that was a big waste. It's a pretty big cooldown, 140 seconds, so... Oh no, he actually used it to try to stop... No, he didn't. Okay, he did use it to try to save OD. It's a pretty large mistake.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Tower's fortified.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yep, he is definitely being chased. When did I use my haste rune? I don't remember that. Now the Spirit Breaker runs away. So I have enough for my first staff, at least. What do I do, guys? I continue to farm. They're looking to push the bot lane, so I do need to be set up for this. Degen aura, if I haven't talked about this yet, but it's actually a really, really good aura. It was buffed in the last 6 months, I believe. It used to only reduce movement speed, but now it does also reduce attack speed. So this means that if you're in the middle of a team fight and you're just standing there, you're going to reduce the damage output of your opponents, which isn't... It's kind of true to what Omniknight does, basically. He's more annoying of a hero than anything else, I think. But Degen aura levels after this point are just really, really fantastic. I really do think that you have to max repel equally with purification, or max purification and repel second. But once you do get levels of Degen aura, it's just fantastic. Oh yeah, the reason I don't really like items on Omniknight, I don't know if I talked about this on a stream or not, but I probably didn't talk about it on a VOD. The game that I went Omniknight, and I think I went mid, and I soloed, and I got a lot of CS, and I got maybe a kill and some tower. But the reason that the Guardian Angel items isn't very good, what it does is it makes your ulti global, so it catches every creep on the map, and it catches every hero as well. So it's pretty cool because you could hypothetically save somebody from a gank globally, but the downside is that it's a really expensive item, so it's like 4,400 gold. If this was global earlier in the game, it would be great. You could just cast it to save allies from ganks or something, but you're not going to have an Aghanims by then, and by the time you do have an Aghanims, Omniknight, naturally not very fast farmer, like, if it's 150 second cooldown, if you pop this to save one of your allies in a gank, it severely inhibits or weakens your strength in a team fight coming up. So if you farm a 4,400 gold item on a hero that doesn't really farm that fast, just to save one guy who's out of position later in the game, it's not really looking that good for you. And that's... There were a lot of other problems that I had playing Omniknight that game, because my teammates ended up feeding, I believe, the one where I went Aghanim Scepter, but... it just doesn't end up being that great. Though I would say the nicest thing about it personally is that you don't have to be right on top of your allies to be able to guarantee that they get a heal off. The radius is 600, so it's something like this. That means my allies have to be within the range of me, and sometimes a hero will be dying right here, and he'll be out of range right when you need Guardian Angel, so that's kind of nice. You could skip having to have perfect positioning, but it's just really not worth it as an item, I don't think. Maybe if you got a Refresher, it could be really cool. Refresher, Guardian Angel, Aghanims, that would be really cool, because then you could pretty much guarantee your allies don't die for like 14 seconds or something like that. If you really want to troll around and have a good time, you could do that. But you might have to get some kind of damage item first so you could actually farm that a little faster, like a Radiance or something. Even going Radiance is pretty troll on Omniknight, but... Omniknight's not very good at Ancienting, by the way, because the Purification doesn't do offensive damage because they're magic immune. So. But boy, can I right-click, guys. I'm going to try to save the Bloodseeker here. He keeps getting bashed, though, yep, and that's going to guarantee his death. When he gets bashed that much, there's no way he's going to be able to survive it. So just kind of unlucky for him. That was an ulti on a bunch of illusions. Alright, so here's the repel on myself. Was trying to heal him so many times. Alright, yeah, he's gonna be able to get the silencer. I think I used the rod in that team fight. I'm not sure who I used it on. We definitely needed it on the OD there. Rod's pretty cool though. It's just a hit bone, guys. The cooldown's really low, 16. It's a 60% slow for 4 seconds. It costs 50 mana. It's so easy. We were commenting on the fact that Gyrocopter wasn't actually at the team fight. He was just pushing bot while his team fought. Might have gone opposite. The fight might have changed a lot otherwise. Use a blade there. I was greedy and decided to go get the double damage. I probably should have just dived with them. Nah, they're gonna be okay. And now we saw the Spearpecker coming. He actually decided to back up, though. I was yelling at him to come towards me. It's like, get over here. There we go.
Healing and harm.
So I can put him up to like half HP at least. It's good to keep your allies full HP like that, though, especially a carry like PL. If you can just keep them on the map longer, it makes a really big difference. I love the sound of Omnia hitting. It's sweet. There's literally so many Omnia items on the shop. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but there's like an insane abundance. So after taking a decent teamfight bot, we're trying to take map control. We take the Aegis and Roshan. We're going to now shift towards the bottom lane, probably take a tower. Everybody's pretty low in mana, but my Arcane Boots comes up in about 10 seconds. And I don't know what Jakiro has. Does he have Arcane? He does, so that's going to help quite a bit. He should be pretty covered. So now, again, oh yeah, my degen is getting leveled up because we had another team fight, so movement, attack speed, slow reduction is getting pretty severe. It's really hard for me to die at this point because my HP is now 1500. Like, their chances of bursting me down are slimmed down. It's basically if I get out of position, I get global silenced, and I get focused heavily. That was a charge on illusion just now, and that is going to be a dead hero. That was really weird. This is kind of where their lack of... their lower levels of skill have really shown through. They started making really bad decisions like that, just kind of like losing heroes. It would have been kind of hard for them to fight this fight no matter what, but even still, it does make an impact. Saving my wand for where I thought I might die. Decided to put a heal down. I can bottle through this. Okay, good, I did start the bottle. I was looking to see if I needed to use my ulti, but it didn't really seem like that. And I put the repel on the Bloodseeker to make sure that he doesn't get silenced and get disarmed. So we end up outstaying the fight pretty easily, and that's where Omniknight starts getting nasty, man. Again, they didn't have Spirit Breaker in that fight, so they were less likely to win that anyways, but they probably shouldn't have even engaged, but I think they got forced upon something like that. But now I'm level 14, my degen is max. I'm pretty much as strong as I need to be for the rest of the game. The Guardian Angel duration could go up a bit, but it's gonna be fine. Called doing a decent job of playing the creeps past, but it doesn't really matter at this point. So we get the melee Rex. I just noticed we haven't taken any of the other tier 1 towers, which is pretty funny. Because the game was so passive for so long, and then we finally decided to push, and we're just kind of winning team fights because we have the stronger composition. Their heroes are really weird though, I must say. I should be able to repel the Bloodseeker so that we can go back in. I think I accidentally healed the wrong person. I think I healed the Lifestealer. Got my Rod of Atos back up again. Gave him some good repel. She does a lot of damage to me. And I actually did for once run out of abilities. I casted the repel on the Bloodseeker and actually needed it there more than the other guy. More than if it would have been on me, if I would have repelled myself and Bloodseeker would have been full HP, he had a Lothars, he had an Aegis, he had a lot of stuff. It was definitely a mistake for me to go for this. Oh, the bashes, man. How many bashes will he get? And then he ruptures for the kill. So there's a couple of other fun items that I could get at this point, but I ended up buying a Force Staff. Me dying there was a perfect demonstration of why I need an ability or an item like Force Staff. If I get silenced or if I get out of position, I need to be able to get out of it. And an early Force Staff I think is viable on Omniknight, but the downside is that it's just simply not tanky enough. If it gave more tank, I think it would be an okay support item on Omni, but you need something that makes you survivable as well as also aggressive. So Force Staff with Rod gives me quite a bit in int, so I'm up to 80 int now, which means OD's ulti does less. But most importantly, I can be offensive with the Rod of Atos, survivable with it as well. And then with the Force Staff, I can save myself or allies if we get out of position. So I kind of just become a walking support hero. And Omniknight's one of the few pure support heroes whose abilities are basically used to make to keep people alive. There's very few heroes like that. If you look at the game as a whole, think about how many heals there are that heal people, and how many heal your allies as well. And I think this is just like the best design decision ever that IceFrog made, was that there's very, very few abilities that heal. Abilities and items. It's things like Mech, Dazzle, Omniknight, and even Dazzle heals aren't that high HP. There's very few self-heals for heroes. The heals that people do have, they're usually not active. Abaddon is another hero that can heal allies, but there are very few heroes that are actively supporting like that. So Lifesteal exists, obviously, and things like that, but It's really good not to have that in the game, though. If you guys don't understand why, it's because burst. If there's a lot of burst heal mechanics on heroes, then it requires burst damage to be able to kill them. And then when you have that dynamic of burst damage and burst heals, it becomes hard to tell how strong people are, basically. So it's much better to have everybody be like full HP at all points and have it a little bit more obvious what it takes to work somebody down. He actually gets Abyssal Bladed, super easy kill on him. Slightly out of position, so I'm able to put the ulti down, which keeps us all alive. Oh wow, that was a lot of damage on him, okay, actually.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Definitely in a little bit of a diving mood here, as you can see.
Radiant's top
Little Pyrion on the back.
under attack.
Keeps HP up.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
So yeah, my stats don't look that good, honestly. 0, 2, and 6, but getting kills as Omniknight doesn't really happen. Just like the team fight presence that you give with your ulti, if they don't have diffusal blades, then I make my team invincible for like 5 seconds, and how are they supposed to kill us? Like, he's honestly a really, really good counter against Spirit Breaker. So if you guys are having trouble with Spirit Breaker in pubs, you can play Omniknight. As long as you're pretty active and pretty mindful of where your opponents are, and that you can be there in team fights. If you can just repel the guy that's getting charged, it completely nullifies Spirit Breaker's ability to pick people off and get kills. He probably doesn't have that much farm this game anyways, but... God. I should have probably healed Pyrion. I used my 4 staff on him, but I think I should have just healed him first. We almost got killed. See, look at that right there. I repelled him just in time. Repelled him just in time before the Greater Bash went through, because it's all magic damage. He just gets mini stunned, takes 0 damage. So good against Spirit Breaker. There's very few heroes that have that much defensive capability, but Omniknight's ability to cast Repel on allies is just so good. What does he have? He has Mask of Madness Treads, so he doesn't really have that many good items anyways, but perfect demonstration of a Spirit Breaker counter is Omniknight. So play him sometime, guys. Make sure you do get a solo lane, though. I didn't talk about this early on in the replay, but you really do need solo EXP on Omniknight to play him well. You can't really play him as a support and a tri-lane. You honestly have to get a lot of pulling in, and if they have an off lane, they're most likely going to get a lot of EXP, because Omniknight's really not good at contesting ranged heroes. So you have to get a solo lane. You can go mid. You can go off lane. It's a little tough, but it does work if you play carefully. And once you get some good EXP, we were saying sick pause because they paused it. They actually paused it at a low timer or a low HP. But it is very difficult to find a solo lane for Omniknight, but if you can get the solo EXP and you can get into a survivable area and you can repel whoever's getting charged, it completely counters the Spirit Breaker in the mid game and prevents him from getting kills. The guy made a lot of mistakes, honestly, past the point of him not getting that much farm in lane, but still works out okay. So that's Omniknight. I played him off lane here. My GPM was okay. He doesn't really farm that fast, but largely I just kind of built items that would keep me alive in teamfights and help me contribute a little bit more than he normally does offensively, because he has virtually no offensive capability. So I grabbed a semi-offensive item, 4 staff as well to save allies, and yeah, we ended up winning the game. It looked really one-sided at the scoreboard, but if you guys remember, like the 20-minute mark, the KD was actually very, very equal. And what basically happened was Treant Protector great in the early game, not so good in the mid game. Support Silencer, pretty much same situation. He can drop his ulti, but that's about it. And I was able to just have a lot more impact than those 2 heroes put together, I think. And they really needed a Gyrocopter to have more damage, and he ended up going BKB. OD was counted pretty heavily by my repel as well and my heals to keep people alive. So Bloodseeker snowballed as well, which helps a lot. So that's Omniknight, that's the off lane, and I hope you guys learned a lot, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, we've been streaming the Alienware Cup. We casted the first matches last night. I casted with Blitz, and I did Analytics Desk with him. We're going to be doing more tonight. There's going to be 3 best of 3, so you'll see me on the stream a lot. It's twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit. If you guys want to know when that goes live, just follow me on either Facebook or Twitter. I always say when we're about to go live. And those start pretty late at night, so it's about 2:30 a.m. Pacific time. So that is, I believe, morning Singapore or night Singapore. I think that's what it is. You might have to convert, but it's 2:30 p.m. Pacific. There's also a Reddit post about it. I believe it's the Alienware Cup, so you guys can learn more if you need to. So feel free to tune into that if you guys want to watch me cast. All right, thanks for watching. Goodbye, guys.